Alright guys, we're back again. This is going to be a good one. So this is the other Prototype XXXNT. Okay. This is truck number 8. And again, this body, I just put this body on here with the decals and that number 8. Just as far as they display, you know, it's nicer to display. So again, these are 1 of 8 made prototype trucks. And again, thanks to Rich, I can't pronounce his last name, Trigilio, I don't know, I'm sorry if I butchered that. Rich was an employee at Team Losi, and he luckily rescued these out of the dumpster. Thanks again, Rich. I'm going to say Rich T, because I think I screwed up your last name. But he rescued these trucks. I mean, back then he probably didn't really, you know, back then he didn't really know too much. He probably just kept them just because he thought they were cool. But he saved a piece of history with these 2 incomplete trucks and that 1 chassis. I did show truck number 6 yesterday or the day before, and did have some information saying that it might have been possibly Brian Kinwolt's truck. That was from Adam Drake. He thought it might have been. He's not 100% sure. Sorry. Excuse me. So yeah, this is a really special one. Let's pop the body. So I did contact almost everybody on the list of names that I gave on the last video of truck number 6, and you know, Matt Francis was really cool to respond, but he really could not remember, you know, whose truck was who, if it was his truck, if that chassis was his, he couldn't remember. And as far as, I think a couple other guys responded, and they really couldn't have an answer for me. And then I got in touch with Adam Drake, and he responded back, and he said, thank God he responded back. He said that, no, the truck with the sticker on it, on the stickers on it, that's my truck. So you are looking at Adam Drake's Prototype XXXNT. You know, it's kind of cool to have these guys like Matt Francis, Adam Drake respond. I mean, they're big guys in the industry. I mean, Matt Francis, of course, you know, he's retired. But you know, somebody like Adam Drake to respond to pretty much a nobody. You know, he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, and he has actually responded back to me a lot of times on questions I've had with a couple of trucks, and he's really helpful. He's a really great guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but if you're willing to respond and help out somebody, I think that's really cool, and especially a big name like him. And he is, in my opinion, like, when it comes to gas off-road trucks, I think he's the man. So it's pretty cool. He responded back and saying that this was his truck. I'm going to share the link on his page. I'm hoping he will respond, or not respond, but make some comments to maybe give some more information on these trucks, or on this truck in particular. I know it was a long time ago. We're talking 2001, I believe. So it was a long time ago. And I do have a little bag of parts I'm going to show, and maybe he might know something about those parts. But let's get the video on with this truck. So on number 6, I was going frantic. Trying to find the chassis number that somebody wrote on it, and I remembered it's on number 8, and here it is right here. This is what I was looking for on number 6. You can see it was inscribed number 8, which is pretty cool. And if you look at the top of the transmission case, which again, they got this little bar in the way, it keeps getting in the way of everything for the brake. You will see that says number 8 on the transmission case also. If you guys can see that, I hope you guys can see that. So that's pretty cool. So again, we're going to go over the prototype parts. Again, I built this truck and the other truck using factory parts, and you will see a big difference on some factory parts, the way they line up with this chassis. So let's start with the back of this truck. So unlike the other one that had a aluminum rear pivot plate, this one is made out of like a Duralin, I believe is the type of plastic that was made, that's milled out. So that's pretty cool. That's a prototype piece. This, I believe, was made. That's a prototype part. Transmission case, without a doubt, is the prototype piece. I believe these two little metal parts with the blue screws, that's a prototype part. Now, if you remember the other transmission brace, it didn't have this dimple in it. So this is a factory part. Now, if you remember, the prototype part was just a straight piece of metal. It didn't have this divot inside there. So that's a factory part. And then this is the prototype piece here. The center section that holds the gas tank. That's the prototype. That's another prototype part. This top plate with his stickers that Adam Drake added. That's also part of the prototype. Then we have these really cool aluminum front, I guess you want to call them bulkhead mounts. That's also part of the prototype. I'll swing around and you see this a little better here. And I think it's a little different than truck number 6. You know, some of these have them on this side, some of them have them on the other side. That little indentation. What else? I'm trying to think. I think that's it as far as prototype parts on this truck goes. Let's take a quick look again. Pretty cool. The other truck number 6 had a prototype rear shock tower. This has the factory. And then we're going to flip this thing over and we're going to see the cool factor, which is the chassis itself. Alright, so now if you remember the other, let's flip it all the way around. If you remember the other chassis, if I can get it to sit, which was truck number 6, and also that Bear chassis I have, they had holes drilled here, they had maybe I think a hole drilled over here. This is, Adam Drake did not, and I think he had a hand in building these trucks too. He did not modify this chassis with any holes or any lightning factors with this chassis. But if you look, which is a big difference, look at this front end. You got the front end. This is the factory. This is a factory piece that luckily lined up and screwed down to the prototype part. But look at that gap. And look at this mold mark right here. So you're missing a lot. I believe the factory chassis came all the way up to here, came around this piece, and then bolted back on. So there's a big difference between the prototype and the factory piece, which I also showed on the bench built XXXNT with the prototype chassis. It has the same factory part mounted on there. So there you go. There's the truck. Team Losi. Let's move this aside. I'm gonna put the camera down for a second here. We're gonna open up the little baggie here. And then, so here we go. Just spread these out a little bit. So these parts can see their gear. These are just little gears with the dimples in them. They're all the same. Then you got this bigger one here. You got these little small gears, and then you got this gear here. Got these two little metal pieces, and then you got those bigger gears. You can see there's two different colors of those gears. This came with the lot when I bought it, and was found with this truck. So I don't know if these were all prototype gears that were made for this particular truck. I couldn't say. You know, like I said, I'm gonna post a link on Adam Drake's website or Adam Drake's Facebook page, and I'm gonna send him a message and see if he can get over here and make some comments. I would love to hear what he has to say about this truck. See, this went in here like this. Isn't that pretty cool? That's the brake disc. So that fit right inside there. But these might be all prototype parts, or they could be factory. I couldn't say either way. So we'll wait to hear from Adam. He might know, he might not know. I was listening actually to one of his stories he was telling when he moved to California in 2001, and he was racing these trucks, and he actually has a factory built truck that he has on his page. I'm probably going to post a link to his page, and so he tells the story about this gas truck racing in 2001. I think it was Las Vegas. So that's pretty cool. So this is Adam Drake's XXXNT Prototype. Pretty cool. One of only 8 ever made, and as far as I know, I got this number 8 partial, number 6 partial, and just that chassis. So the rest probably are still sitting in the dump somewhere, because they probably all got trashed. Unfortunately, that's what happens with prototypes. They get thrown in the garbage. And this one, thank God, Rich again. Shout out to Rich for saving this truck and the other two, the other chassis and the other partial. He saved a piece of history. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back soon again. Alright guys, take it easy.